Is it just me, or did January feel like a buffer month? It was like the bridge between 2024 and 2025. I finally feel like we're actually in a new year. And that's just how I'm gonna treat it. It's as if 2025 is starting with the beginning of February. I'm ready for the new year, and I've been thinking about my goals a lot more. January was a little distracting. I ultimately just felt like I could not focus or get a lot done with fires happening. I'm in an area that I am safe. I was safe when the fires were going in LA. It was still a little too close for comfort though, and it's the kind of thing that you're like, how can I possibly do anything when other people's homes are burning, livelihoods, some people died in the fire, just how can I just like go about my day while this is happening? That's how January felt for a good chunk of it. I didn't even get any reading done at all. I have not read at all this year because I couldn't even focus on words like that. I only started watching movies more towards the end of the month, and I of course worked on my Letterboxd year in review video, as well as I have been working on my top first time watches of 2024 video. However, that's going to take me a little bit longer, so I'm filming this sort of 2025 goals, mindset, and manifestations kind of video. That's where I'm at right now. I know that the first time watches video is going to take me a little bit longer, not only because I want to be able to put a lot into it, but my younger brother is moving away soon, so we've been spending more time together and watching stuff together, and that's kind of my priority right now, to spend more time with him rather than be up here in my room working on a video. This is hopefully going to be quick. Even if it isn't, I'm probably not going to edit much. We'll see. I would like to do more with editing a little bit, kind of depending on the video, but I'm feeling like really inspired right now, which is why I have written more in terms of like my mindset and manifestations for this year. And I'm talking overall in my personal life, just who I am, what I'm doing, with videos, with what I'm reading, with what I'm watching, everything. I have a list of things here. My computer is here. First, I'm gonna start with the things that I wrote first when I was feeling inspired, basically, last night. And, well, throughout January, I was watching a lot of YouTube. That was like the only thing that I could really focus on besides editing my own video. I couldn't focus on like a narrative story basically all that well. So I did watch a lot of YouTube in January, and I love New Year, end of the year content in general. And I was catching up a little bit more on that these past few days. Last night or a couple nights ago, I was watching Karissa Love's goals video, like the same sort of situation that I'm doing here. But I also caught up on her last couple like monthly wrap up and like favorites videos because I hadn't watched those yet, and I just really like her style. It aligns with mine in one way. I feel like I'm a true Gemini in the way that I just dabble in a lot of various things and I can't stick to one. But she's one creator who I was just like watching her video, and the way that she was speaking, she's so positive and radiant. If you're watching me for movies, you're probably not necessarily going to be interested in her, but the girlies, check her out. Anyway, I was watching her video, and then I wrote down to do monthly collages and wrap up or favorites videos, because I used to do those like when I sort of like revamped my channel again, like after I took a bit of a break, and now I'm kind of doing the same thing, I guess, but honing my creativity in a different way. Ultimately just like trying to tap into who I am and what I like a lot more, because I feel like as much as I like exploring things and discovering things, I also feel like I've kind of trampled on who I could be and what I could be doing. I'm being very vague about it, and it's not like I'm like not necessarily myself, but I just want to like tap into it more. So I wrote that down to do maybe like monthly collages. It'd be interesting to do different kind of like videos incorporating more sort of like digital art, I guess. As someone who like was on Tumblr in high school and still has the same Tumblr, I'm using my TV as light, so it just changed. Tumblr, I think, has always been my favorite social media site. So if you know, you know, although, okay, there was like a Pinterest moment last year that like, yeah, like last year was a really big Pinterest year until AI made it terrible. So, it's been a bit, so maybe it's been better. Along with the sort of, like collages and things that I may just do for myself, it'd be also nice to include it in videos and such, and I want to go back to doing sort of monthly wrap up videos and favorites videos, and that can at least allow me to have a default video per month if I don't have other like ideas or if I'm working on other things. But also in terms of just me and my life, I wrote down to explore more and create more, be myself more. I've been getting a lot of like other clothing. I'm trying not to just be in like a t-shirt or crew neck and some like lounge pants or shorts all the time. And I've been getting more back into actually like having a wardrobe basically since 2020. I should go like thrifting more. I don't know what places are around here, but I have not done that yet, and I think that could be really helpful with just getting certain pieces and also not completely new clothing. I think I've consistently bought jewelry as well over the past years. I used to like wear earrings all the time growing up, and then I kind of got out of it, and now I've been trying to, I don't know, just wear stuff a lot more. Maybe I'll insert some images of like some of the random pieces that I've been getting, particularly last year. I kind of already mentioned like tapping into my inner self more, so that's kind of just more of a reiteration of being myself more. I also think I like get into this sort of mindset when I'm like filming where I'm not present here. I'm too like present with everything around me. I have no idea if that makes sense, but I understand it. And I guess it also is just like the way that we can be performative around other people. And I want to not be like that. Because as much as in a way your performative self is a part of you and a part of yourself or a version of yourself, I've always been like in my shell a lot, especially once I got to like middle school. I think I really closed myself off and I just stayed that way for a really long time. And I used to not be like that as a kid. And I kind of wish I was like that still and had that mindset that wasn't so worried about what other people were thinking necessarily. That isn't as present as it has been in the past for me, but at the same time, it is something that I'm constantly thinking about. And I really hate that, especially because, not to be like really narcissistic, but I think I'm like a really cool person and I'm also very smart. And sometimes I like actually don't think that comes across fully in videos or like when I'm with other people. Anyway, that was a lot of rambling before getting to my next note of not being afraid to do things that seem dumb or mundane or unimportant or not causing progress. And that is just the way that I phrased it, because kind of going in a different route. Now that I'm not in school anymore, sometimes it feels like I'm not doing anything like positive on the computer or not doing anything to like make myself better, even though I am. And technically, not everything that I do has to align in that way. It can just be something for myself, like making a collage, you know, a digital art collage on my computer. So I actually have that written down like as an example. Also just making like other kind of art, something physically, as well as something for myself outside of YouTube or outside of like feeling that need to share it with everyone. I don't know. I can have things for myself and then I can also have things that go along with YouTube and my social media presence. Sometimes I get like way too aware of like you know, I live at home with my family, although soon to be minus my younger brother. But sometimes when I'm in here and it seems like I'm not doing anything and like my dad's out in his office like working because he works from home, like I get too aware that he's over there working and it seems like I'm not doing anything. But that's not even necessarily the way that I'm thinking about the situation. It's the way that I think my dad would think about the situation. Perhaps. I don't even actually know. Like maybe he doesn't really care, but for some reason in my mind, I have to attribute everything that I'm doing to progressing, you know? And I guess it's sort of like, I don't know, maybe it's like a lingering effect of like hustle culture as well, which I never have really been a part of, but I've been so aware of it. And I think that that's still kind of a resonating mindset to an extent for some people, and definitely in certain areas online still. My next notes are to feed your inner child, which I mean that like in every way, especially like with the way that I dress. Like why are we not dressing up all the time? I still want to have loungy clothing, but I also really want to have like a wardrobe that is just out there. It's like, it's costumey. Okay. Not to get too down like a historical costuming rabbit hole, but like we say costuming now and that's very associated with like performances, stage, movies, whatever. But like costuming is technically the correct term even in terms of what the clothes were that people wore centuries ago. You know, the outfits people wore, the fashion of previous decades, previous centuries, that is costuming. But I want my wardrobe to be like a costume wardrobe. And that's one way that I can feed my inner child and my soul, and that can come across in my space overall. I still want to like make sure I'm like kind of adding things to this room and my other room, my bedroom, and just like the space around me can be really reflective of everything, of all that. I want to get like into baking a lot more again. Baking kind of fluctuates. It kind of depends on other things that I'm doing and what I'm interested in, but I feel like we've been in like a dinner rut, and I think when that happens, I get really into wanting to try new recipes, even though typically it's some kind of like dessert or pastry, because I prefer baking over cooking, but I like doing both. And I was gonna say something else, but I don't remember. Yeah, feed your inner child and soul. And then I literally just have be a witch written down. And I kind of phrased it like that because Karissa Love considers herself a witch. At least that's the way that she refers to herself sometimes. I think I just found her channel last year, so I know that like people who are spiritual in different ways or like practice witchcraft, there's different meanings for that, and I know that if someone isn't into that, then maybe saying being a witch or practicing witchcraft can sound kind of strange, perhaps. But I did get a few books last year that have to do with witchcraft. One is more of like a history of witchcraft. It's like a textbook. And then there are some other ones that are very like late 80s and 90s kind of books. Having to do with one, I think is like a crystal ball kind of book. And I just, not only do I think that it would just be like a fun and positive thing to implement, but it's just interesting to read something that technically is a part of a larger history. And last year I got my first tarot deck, which I've always wanted a tarot deck, I think since like high school basically. So not always, but like a long time. But I don't know that much about tarot or like how to do stuff or like what the cards like fully mean yet. So I want to make sure that I'm like actually learning and reading like the handbooks and stuff like that. So those are some things that I mean with be a witch. It'd be very cool to have an altar or a space that I can use as an altar, but I also think that I don't like it would really have to work like in my space, because I don't want it to make me feel like my room is like messy or cluttered, because that can really easily happen when it seems like I have a lot out. And I guess that kind of can tie into the next note, which is to keep up with honing my space and basically just, you know, regularly sort of clean and redecorate my rooms, making sure the space is apt for the mindset that I'm in and the interests that I currently have, whatever like specific thing that I'm like really into. Especially with dog sitting, I hate getting home and just things being an absolute mess. Sometimes it can't be helped. I don't necessarily mean like a deep clean. I just mean like tidy up. Maybe I have clothes all over the floor. You know, sometimes I won't even want to bother with that because I'm only home for a few days and then I'm gonna be dog sitting again. I'm giving myself like leeway and space with these, but it's still like I'm feeling very determined this year in terms of everything that I've just talked about and the things that I'm going to talk about, basically, in particular with like a certain note for reading and what I want to read and what I want to watch. My last note besides the reading and watching stuff is just to write, because I do really like writing and it's one of the things that I have been complimented on throughout the years, particularly like in school. It was probably one of the notes that I consistently got back. And even one of my professors was like, "You're gonna do grad school, right? Because you are already at that level of writing." And I went, "No, I don't plan on it." But I was very surprised. But I would like to write more and like write, I don't know, I just want to like write more. I was thinking about it. I was probably like watching somebody who was also talking about wanting to write more. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that too, because like you can only, it doesn't even have to be for any specific purpose other than to express yourself and possibly get better at it, because practicing and you know finding your voice more, you know, those are just positive things. I used to want to have a journal, but I could never like commit to it. I really don't think I can. But I think also in my mind I'm like comparing it to certain like literary fiction, but also autobiographical or like memoir adjacent authors. I don't know, like Deborah Levy. Is it Levy or Levy? Someone let me know. But I know that she has like certain books that are in that like mixture. I don't know. I just wrote down write. I really didn't need to go into so much detail because I don't even really know. I just wrote down to write. And then reading, watching, and videos. For reading, I typically have a goal for the last handful of years to read 52 books. I've never made it that far. I think 44 is my best. And it's okay if I don't get to 52, but that is I think like I'll make 38 maybe my like stricter goal and 52 my loose goal. Sometimes I like to do it like that. But anyway, 52 books. I wrote down to read every day at least like 30 minutes or maybe even an hour. It's gonna depend on the day, but clearly that hasn't happened yet. I literally said I haven't read at all so far this year. I mean, maybe some things like online, but no official like short story, essay, novella, novel, book, series, nothing. But it's okay because this year starts in February for me. Then for movies and shows, I don't necessarily need to watch something every single day, but I would like to maybe get to, by the end of the year, have close to having watched something per day. You know, in 2024, I got close to watching 366 because it was a leap year. You know, I got really close to that number. And even though I didn't necessarily watch something every single day, it evens itself out in that way. It'd be nice to get close to that again. So I just wrote down, watch something every other day. But mostly that's because I want to be consistent with watching what is in my collection, as well as watching what's in my collection, watching own movies, that I have that written down, as well as watch what I have recorded on the DVR, because I am a consistent recorder, and then I just like don't touch them because they're recorded and it's fine and I can watch them whenever. But I should really watch things, delete them, make space for other things that I want to record or things for my mom to record. And then most significantly with books and movies is that I want to finally fucking get to certain books that I've just put off for convoluted reasons that I've like made up. It's just what I do. If I think something is going to be an absolute new favorite, the timing has to be right. I can't have anything else happen that day except to read that book or watch that movie. Like, nothing can be tainting my mindset and my experience of reading this thing or watching this thing. I have to like create a mood and create an event, which I don't mind necessarily, but it does not have to be so isolated. It's fine. Just read it. So I have to like watch and read high potential favorites. I'm pretty good at judging what I think is going to be all new favorites, or like I know where my interests are and what I really like. That doesn't always pan out, because how are we ever supposed to know that for sure? But there's so many books that I'm like, I just know that that's going to be, if not a favorite, then something I at least really love or find very compelling. Get to those books, get to those movies, the high potential favorites, and the things that I've put off for, you know, the right time, whatever that means. So also I kind of wanted to add, if there is like a movie or a book that you're so surprised, I want to know. This is my question to all the viewers. What is a title or multiple titles, books, movies, whatever, that you're like, Bailey, how have you not read that yet? How have you not seen that yet? It seems completely up your alley. It seems like a Bailey movie or a Bailey book, but I haven't actually consumed it yet. What do you think? What are your thoughts? Because I do have like a couple lists going for those specific titles. For videos, I do kind of want to have more of a schedule. With my brother not being here anymore, I'm kind of hoping that will actually allow me to be kind of more open with making videos. Kind of similar to the way that I like think about my dad, like like judging me from his office. Like, I don't know why. But yeah, I want to maybe like, obviously I want to try to be more consistent with videos, but also maybe a schedule will be helpful. And also just like making any kind of video. I think I get too caught up in like certain ideas and then like needing to do the prep work and then like all the editing and stuff, but like really filming something here and there every now and then. It can be really short, it could seem unimportant, but it can just be me doing things or sharing random things, and that's totally fine. I don't want to be too lax, but I also don't want to put pressure on myself if I've missed a day of reading, if I have been a little slower with watching things or making videos. Just take a breath and go forward. Like, that's it. I feel like I have some other things to say, but maybe that I'll save it for another video, because this is not, I realize this is not actually a full like 2024 reflections kind of video. And I have to stop recording now, actually. So, I don't know. These were my thoughts. This was good. This was just nice to get all out. And I would love to know what you think of anything that I said. What are some of your goals and mindsets for this year? Even though we're a month into it, it's fine. I hope everyone is doing well and staying safe. Happy reading, happy watching, and I'll see you in my next video. It will probably be the top first time watches of 2024, but I really want to do a lot of editing with that. Okay, anyway, bye.